Ricky Hatton took on Vyacheslav Senchenko, the Ukrainian who came in with a solid record but hadn't really proven himself. He was a hand-picked opponent by Ricky Hatton. Hatton making his return to the ring since that vicious knockout with 6 seconds left in the second round against Manny Pacquiao. You know, he suffered, as we stated in the preview, with drug abuse, mainly cocaine, alcohol abuse. He has a broken relationship with his parents. He's in a lawsuit with his former friend and trainer, Billy Graham. However, he made this return for 4 rounds. I would say he looked, you could say, like the same old Ricky, but he looked well. I mean, for a 34-year-old fighter who has taken this much time off. However, in the end, he was knocked out with you could say a vicious body shot by Senchenko, a left-handed body shot right to the side, and he did not get up. The knockout came in the 9th round. He has said that he is retiring. Many are worrying about what might happen with Ricky, but let me ask you this, Robert. Assess his performance from that night in Manchester.
Well, his performance was acceptable. It was a pretty good performance for the first 4 rounds. He was moving well. He was firing off punches. He was getting caught, but he was sort of imposing his will upon Senchenko, and certainly seemed to dominate the first half of the fight. But after a while, Senchenko began to loosen up. He began to fire off more of his shots. He began to bust up Hatton. Hatton's vaulted forward motion continued without jabbing his way in, so he was eating punches right and left. It wasn't as though Hatton has improved. I mean, what we saw was the old Ricky Hatton, but somewhat less so. And if Senchenko was a greater fighter than he was, he probably would have put Ricky Hatton away sooner than he did.
Seems like the biggest loser from this outcome is not, well, you could say maybe Ricky Hatton, but the biggest loser not in the ring that night is Paulie Malignaggi, who probably just lost a 7-figure payday, possibly $2 million to $5 million in a fight with Ricky Hatton in the rematch that could have been. Would you say that Ricky Hatton's conditioning was not up to par, or was it that he just kept eating punches over and over and over, as you said, did not try to jab his way in, because it seemed like from the 5th round on, he got extremely tired?
Well, it's true. I don't know that his conditioning was a problem, but you can't really teach an old dog new tricks. Hatton, despite his reputation, despite all the love that he has from the people of the British Isles and from the boxing community, is really not an excellent boxer. He is a fine fighter, but not a fine boxer. He never learned to sort of jab his way in. There are fundamentals that are simply lacking from his arsenal. He squares himself off whenever he fires a punch. He's a face-first punch fighter, and a face-first fighter is somebody who's going to get their face hit a lot. Ricky was not going to improve. Ricky was going to lose a lot of weight. He was going to get it in the ring. He was going to seek redemption by winning, and in turn, so he hoped, turn people's imagined perception, imagined by him, that he was this failure, that he was this loser, into the fact that he was not a failure and that he was not a loser. Unfortunately, he failed. Unfortunately, he lost. How Ricky deals with this remains to be seen.
Ricky Hatton now 45-3 with 32 knockouts. The first 2 losses seemed very, very acceptable to many that are knowledgeable in the sport, because he lost to, as you stated in the preview, the 2 greatest fighters of our era, at least in the last 10 years. Not our era. I will absolutely correct myself. In the last 10 years or so, in Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. So we talked about how he might react to all of this. Will he slink back into depression? Many people who watched the post-fight interview with Ricky said that he just looked so incredibly down. He started crying in the ring after he lost. He was, leaning over the ropes. It was sad. From a boxing fan's perspective, it was just plain sad. So, in all honesty, you said in the preview that you thought it would be better if he lost in a quicker format. He lost in the 9th round. A loss is a loss, but where do you think he will go from here? Can he possibly get a hold of his life even though he lost in front of his home fans?
He can get a hold of his life. I don't know if he can do it without professional help, but he can get a hold of his life. He has a beautiful fiancée. He has a beautiful baby daughter. He has a promotion company. He is training fighters. I mean, there is a beautiful life awaiting him if he can simply reach out and grab it. Whether he can do that or not remains to be seen, but he somehow or other needs to get into his head that he is not a failure, coming from where he came from. All that he's achieved, given his limited skills, is really off the charts. If there was ever a winner, given the givens, it's Ricky Hatton. Again, if he doesn't think so, it's not the case, but everybody else in the world thinks so, and hopefully some of that will rub off on him.
Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of Boxing.com. You could follow him on Twitter at boxing_com and follow his writing at, you guessed it, www.boxing.com. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome, Rick.